Okay. So once that is ready, if you cross verify it, you will find that whatever was the plan, it is similar to that plan. Okay, so similarly, class is nothing but it's a blueprint of how the object of this class will look like. And what is object? Instance of a class. Okay, so if we talk about a real world object, it is like a tangible thing which you can modify, which you can manipulate, which you can touch, which something which you can replace it somewhere. Similarly, object in programming language is something through which you can achieve something. I mean, it is a model of the real world object. Object in programming language or in this one software engineering, it's a model of some real world entity. Okay, so that's called object oriented programming. Okay, so how to create a class in Python? How to create a class in Python? So, for example, if we just start. Okay, so the syntax is first you have to write class, then class name, then 2:, okay, and then I'm writing here pass. So what is this pass? Correct. It's a simple class which does not contain any data member, any member function. Okay, it is valid in Python. Okay, in other language, but about C++ and all, so you should be having something in the class. I mean, even though you can create an empty class here also. Okay, so this is a valid Python class. One more thing in Python is, which is different from the other languages, is like you can add data members dynamically. You can add data members dynamically. Okay, let's say if you create a class in C++ or in Java, you have to write data members in the class. Okay, but in Python you can add data members dynamically. Okay, so for example, this class does not contain anything. It just first class and second statement is pass. You don't have any data members here. Okay. So now this is my class definition. Okay, this is my class definition. If I wanted to create an object of this class, what should I write? I should call the constructor of this class. Okay, what we can do is just open a terminal and just write this class. All using Windows or Linux? Windows. Okay. Now what you can do is execute that code using Python interpreter. Write Python and give the path name of that. Okay. Execute that in interpreter. How you? I'm not sure how you are doing in Windows. Basically, what I wanted is Okay, I executed that and I got an interpreter shell here. So are you able, do you know how to do that in Windows? File, it will lead to interpreter or it will execute that, how, what it will do? It will execute that file, just do it. Now what you can do is, so basically what you did is, you created a class. You created a class, the name of that class is first class and nothing, that's it. Now what I have to do is, I have to add data members in this class. I have to add data members in this class. Or if now you were to create an object of this class, how will you create the object of this class? This is the layout. This is the layout. So layout says that there is nothing in this class. It means that if you create an object of this class, there will be nothing in that. It's an empty object. So how to create an object of this class out of this class? You have to call the constructor of this class. Okay. So and what is constructor? Constructor construct the object. Constructor, what is the responsibility of a constructor? It construct the object from the class definition. Constructor construct the object from the class layout or class definition. So this is my layout. Okay. So now if I have to call the constructor, what should be my code? Let's say obj is equals to first class okay. I got a object with the name obj. I got a object created from this class first class, and what is obj? It's not the object, it's a reference to that object. It's a reference to that object. So for example, if we talk in terms of memory layout, so what is this? It you mean to say, okay, so do one thing. Which version you are using? Python version? Something like this you mean to say, right? It will be same only, but this is like this was right? 1 minute. Okay, so Python, you can create a class object in Python. I'll let you know what exactly it is. Okay, so there's something called instance, there's something called class object. Okay, So in order to call the constructor, you have to write function name and then curly brace. Okay, this is how you create a object of a class. Okay, so what is the process? First, you have to define a class, and then using the class name. Okay, so what is constructor? Constructor is nothing but it shares the class name. Okay, and it is responsible of creating an object from that class. Okay, so okay, so this is my class definition. Now, if I just write obj is equals to first class, it means that I am creating object from this class. Okay, and if we talk about in terms of memory layout, okay, so this is my RAM. Okay, let's say 8 GB. So out of it, 4 GB will be operating system, given to operating system. Remaining 4 GB will be for user application. So what are user application? Let's say Windows, this one, VLC player, Mozilla Firefox, and what and all you are doing in your system. Let's say you are having Word document, or you are having Microsoft Excel or PPT open. So those will get memory from this user area. Okay, those will get memory from this user area. Now your code, your Python code, it is also executing in your system. Okay, this is my class definition. So it's just a blueprint. It does not store anywhere. It does not take any space. It's just a blueprint. Okay, space in RAM you will get when you create an object from this class. Okay, so I created an object obj1 using this first class. Okay, so what will happen? You will get one object created here, and what is obj? Obj is reference to this object. Obj is reference to this object. Okay. Now, if you write ID of this object, ID obj, what it will give? ID obj, what it will give? Sorry. Remember address of this object. Address of this object. For example, if I write x equal to 45, okay, that will be given if you write type x, type of obj. So there's two different functions, type and ID. Okay, if I write ID of x, what it will give? Address of this 45. Okay. Similarly, if I give ID obj, it will give me address of this object. Okay. If I give type of x or type of obj, you will get it's an instance of a class. Okay. If you give type in x, it will give what? Integer. If I write type x, you will get type int. Okay.
1, 2, 3 is behaving into different systems. The type of OBJ what we have created now is saying something underscore.
1 minute.
It's not writing instant.
Okay, instead of let's say what is writing here?
Underscore main
Underscore main underscore dot. First, do one thing, just copy paste. I mean, just save somewhere. Send me mail. I mean, it is the same thing in different way of saying that. Okay, it might be giving some kind of address of that object or something like that. But you created that object using this first class, right?
Yeah.
OBJ and then first class curly brace. Okay, and then you are saying type OBJ. Type OBJ. Okay, now do one thing. Create one more class. Okay, create one more class and put some data member inside that class. For example, this class does not contain anything. If I write one more thing, if I write here something like, let's say obj dot x equal to 90. Okay. So basically, class contain data member, it contain member function. Okay. Class contain data members and member function, but this class does not have anything. It's empty class. Okay. And whatever the data member and member function a class has, we can access those using dot operator. We can access those using dot operator. Okay. So for example, sorry. Right. Correct. So we are adding data members dynamically. We are adding data members dynamically. Okay. Correct. 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 We'll see that. Okay. Okay. So class contain data member and member function. And how we access those data member and member function using dot operator. Okay. So for example, if I create a class point, for example, so do one thing, just create a class point. Okay. And add some data members in it. Some data member or member function in it. So what you can write is so again, let's say if we talk about same thing we did, right? My first class, then pass. I called the constructor of this class, and so once I call constructor, I'll create an object, and A is what? A is a reference to that object. Similarly, second line is B is equals to my first class. It means that again I created one more object from this first class, and B is a reference to that first class. Okay, if I print A and B, it will print something. Just check what it is printing. If you just give A and B. Two different memory location, correct. So for example, if this is my RAM, so I'll get object 1 here, I'll get object 2 here, I'll get A is referring to this object, B is referring to this object. Okay, inside memory it is like this. Same concept, not same, similar to that, because Python everything is a reference. For example, if you write a statement something like, x equal to 45. Okay. In Python, if you write x equal to 45, so what do you think? How it is internally? You will get one. Correct. X is a reference to that one. So it is like this one. So 45 will get some address, let's say 0x4445, and X is referring to 45. X is a reference to 45. You cannot check address of X. You cannot check address of X. IDX will give you the ID of 45. Okay, so ID of X will give ID of 40. So basically, this practical you can do if you write ID X or if you write ID 45, both will be same. Okay, you cannot check ID of this X. You cannot check ID of this reference. No, so no. You mean to say that you mean to say where is that add page? You mean to say you will write X equal to 45 and then you write Y equal to X. Is what you mean to say? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you mean to say right, got it. So X equal to 90. Okay, and then X equal to 45, right? So basically there's something called garbage collector which is running in the Python. There's something called garbage collector. Okay, so first time when you write this statement, what will happen? X will come in the memory and it is pointing to 90. Okay, while executing second instruction, X will start pointing to the 45. X will start pointing to 45, but so now no one is pointing to 90. X, which was earlier pointing to 90, now it is pointing to 45. This link will go. Okay. Now the question is whether 90 will still be in the memory. Whether 90 be still in the memory, it depends. Because Python garbage collector, it works in a way that when it finds that no one is referring to this, it will remove that. Okay. So for example, if I write X equal to 90 or if I write Y equal to 90, okay, both will point to same 90 only. No. Local type storage different. We'll see. You mean to say when it is in the function? No. When thing, because function, when you talk about function, memory will be separate. Okay, those are like local variables. So those variables will not conflict. Okay, for example, X. Okay, I'll give you one more example in this. Okay, so let's say if you write X equal to 90, Y equal to 90, both will point to the 90. Now, if what I do, if I write X equal to 45, so X started pointing to 45, but Y is still pointing to 90. So in this case, Python garbage collector will not remove 90 because there is a reference referring to 90. Okay. Right, because when you're importing a library, you're not using it because your Python program, right, whatever your script program is, because it is having reference to that. So you are having all those functions available, but you're not using it. So memory wise, it is not good to import when you're not using. Even if you are importing it, you import only what you are using. Don't import everything. Okay, you might need few functions from a library, but you don't want all the library functions available for you. You want only few functions. So in that case, import only those functions. Is module covered? Module. Okay. So we'll go through it. Okay. So how to import module and how to import only specific things from module instead of importing everything. Okay. So this is clear, right? Class, first class, pass, and then A equal to first class, B equal to first class. This first class is a constructor which is responsible for creating object of this class. Okay, this. So two empty objects will get created, and A is a reference of first object and B is a reference to second object. A and B are reference. Okay. Now see this. I have a class point. Okay. I'm having a class point, but there's no data number in this point. Now P1, I created a object P1 equal to point. So P1 will refer to a empty object point, P2 will refer to empty object point, now I'm writing p1 dot x equal to 5, p1 dot y equal to 4, p1 dot x equal to 3, p1 dot y equal to 6. It means what? I am adding data members dynamically. Okay, I created an empty class, but I added data members dynamically in this class. So Python support this. Java and C++, any other programming language, you have to, it has to be, you have to write before creating the object. In the class definition only, you have to write what and all data members you want in that.
Yes. I want to
That is separate. Adding function is really tricky. It's not as simple as adding data members in Python. See, when you use inheritance, so let's say if you're using inheritance, it means that you are inheriting point class in some class, right? So it is possible, right, that parent and child have the same. You mean to say same data members in parent and same data members in so basically we don't do it this way. This way of coding is wrong. Okay, but Python supports this. So if in case you need that, you can, exceptional cases, you can do like this. Mhm. Correct. So you can have some other variable in P2. It's not necessary that you are adding X and Y in P1, so you should add same in P2. Since you are adding dynamically, you can add it. Supporting that will see. That will see. You are in this or Krishna? Krishna is, I think, taking some. Just checking with Abhishek.
class is not issue, right? How will I do it?
Okay.
The slides covering separately there. It should what is the slides in parallel for that classes.
Check it, otherwise you can sit here also.
Okay.
Just check. Right. So we are adding data members dynamically here in P1 and in P2. Okay. This is dynamic, so we will not be getting these values.
Let's suppose somebody has got the photo, they want to see that object model class is
All the data members in the class, right? It is there. I'll let you know. So there's a function, okay, where something where, okay. Using that, you can check what and all the data members exist for this class. Okay. So what you can do, just quickly write this code, okay. Rather than writing it here in this file, what you can do is just write this statement, and then you can add dynamically X and Y in interpreter. So for example, something like this. Then, okay, so you added different members or how it is, or same? Different, so it is working, right? So you can independently add anything. You can write x here, x there also, but you can assign a string here, you can assign a integer there. Okay, you can add things dynamically in Python. Data members. How to? We'll see. What and all is supported for function? We'll see. Okay, so if you write VARS P1, okay, let's say ATTR equal to VARS P1. It means what? ATTR will, so what it returns? Vars, variables in a object. Okay, var function argument is P1. It is creating a dictionary from the data members of this P1 object, and then if you print attribute, you will get all those data members. Getting? So if I do it for P2, I'll get only 2. But P1, I'm getting 3 data members because I added one dynamically. P1 equal to Z, P1 dot Z equal to 45. Got it? So what is this? This line ATTR equal to wheres. So wheres is a function which returns all the data members of P1 in a dictionary form. Okay, and what is that key value pair? Key is the name of those references X, Y, Z, and value is the value of those references. Member function will be like they are like shared by all the objects. Okay, so there will be only one copy of it. We'll see how to print member function also. We'll see how to print. We'll see how to see that member function definitions also. Okay, so right now just forget about member function. Just concentrate on data members. Okay, so a class definition can have a data member, or you can add data members dynamically. Okay, so far we have seen that we were adding data members dynamically. Okay, so now how to create a class where data members are already there. So how to create that kind of class now? Sorry, attribute, right? So correct. So function is var, VARS vars. If you write vars P1, it returns a dictionary vars of the variable with the values. So now attribute is what? ATTR is a dictionary which is having y equal to 4, x equal to 5, z equal to 45. Right. ATTR is a variable depending upon what you are going to assign to this variable. Type will change. For example, I haven't written like ATTR is going to be a dictionary. Since I am storing a dictionary in this ATTR. X equal to vars P1. Just a name. X equal to vars P1, y equal to vars. Where is the function? Right. This is a function. For example, equal to 9. Okay, it does not have any dictionary attribute. Even okay, so your class should have dictionary attribute. Okay. Mostly we don't add dynamically. I mean, very rare case. Very rare case. I'll tell you if I get any practical, which, can be. Otherwise it is like very rare case. I mean, you should be having everything in the code itself, because it's just about executing, because when things are executing, then you are adding it. So one might add, one might not add. Okay. It is used with the function. It is used with the function. Okay. So for example, we'll look at this program. So even here I'm adding it dynamically, right? I mean, it's not about when interpreter start that time. Here also I'm adding it dynamically only. Okay, but the practical use I'll let you know. When we go through functions, I'll give you a practical example of it. Okay, so how to add data members in a class point? This is not the correct way of adding attribute in class or attribute data or adding data members in class, but it is one of the way. Okay, so what I'm doing in this program, I'll just explain you. So this is my class definition, class point, and I'm defining one function here. Okay, all the functions, whatever you are defining in a class, should contain a argument called self. What is self? I'll let you know in 5 minutes. Okay, all the functions, all the member function of a class should contain first argument as self. Correct. Even though it is having multiple argument, one argument should be self, and that is, it has to be the first argument should be self. Okay. Now what I'm doing is self dot x equal to 0, self dot y equal to 0, print self. Okay, this is my reset function. Okay, so this is just a blueprint. What I'm doing is I'm calling p1 equal to point, and instead of p1 I just write p2. That will be second thing should be p2. P2 is this. P1. Okay, so where were we? right? So this is my class definition, class point. Okay, I am defining one function reset, which is having one argument as self. Okay, so all the functions, whatever you are defining in a class, should contain a self argument. Okay, irrespective of how many other argument it is having, right? So this reset is nothing. This function will just reset x and y at data member or attribute of this point as 0. Okay. Now, so can you guys explain what exactly is happening here in this program? Okay, 1 minute. I just open one this and then show desktop. Yeah. So I created two P1 and P2 here, right? 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. Tell me. Okay. So I got something like this here, and then my P1 is a reference to this one. Okay, and then I got P2. P2 is referring to other object. Then print P1 will create two more data members. But X and Y is not yet created, right? But correct. So when I say P1 equal to point, I get something like this. So will I get X and Y? But this is reset function, right? Which is not yet called so far. It just prints some address, right? P1, P2, whatever the address you are having this. So let's say 0 cross something, 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 something. Print this. Sorry? Self. Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. Now what I'm doing is P1 dot X equal to 100. P1 dot Y equal to 300. So now I am kind of adding attribute here in this X and Y. Right, and then P2 dot X equal to 34, P2 dot Y equal to 90. Right? Yeah, so far. So we are, even in this, we're not doing it, we're not adding data numbers in the class. Okay. We just added one function. Correct. Correct. It is dynamically. Okay, we'll see. So far, okay, 1 minute. There is. Is there any undo here? No, this is a this one. Okay, I just right. Okay, so far till here, right? Till here. Now what I'm doing is I'm calling p1 dot reset and p2 dot reset. p1 dot reset and p2 dot reset. Okay, so what will happen now? X and Y will get 0.
But why is it not giving the argument that not given?
Because that will be implicitly. You mean to say self?
Yeah.
Right, it will be passed automatically. I mean, it is okay. Okay, so far it is clear till this point. Okay, now p1 dot reset. Okay, I can write p1 dot reset because reset is a function defined in class point, and p1 is the object of type created from that point. Okay, so in order to access all the data members of member function, I have to write object dot whatever the data member is or whatever the member function is. Okay, so I can write p1 dot reset. Now you're asking that why it is not giving error, because I'm not passing self here, but in my class definition self is there, right? It will pass implicitly. Okay, passing to self will be implicit. And what is the value of self? Correct? What is the value of self now? So 1 minute. So the question is, what is the value of self? Any idea? Correct. Okay. So what is self? Self is nothing. It is P1. Whoever is calling that function or whoever is accessing that data members, self is that. For example, here I'm calling reset using P1. Okay, so self is nothing but this address. Self is nothing but this address. Object is self. Self is nothing but the object using which you are calling that function. So I'm calling this function, reset function, using P1 object. So self is nothing but P1. Here I am calling reset function using P2. So self is nothing but the address of P2, means this one. Correct. Reference or address. And that will pass implicitly depending upon who is calling that function. Here P1 is calling, so self will be set with this value. When P2 is calling, then self will be set with this value. Okay, so self is nothing but the object whoever is calling that function. No, then how will you access X and Y? I want to access X of P1. I want to set or I want to reset X of P1 or I want to reset X of P2. So whether I am doing this reset on P1 or P2, it depends on what is the value of self. Since self was this one first time here, okay, because P1 was calling, so self was this one. So this one dot X means I'm talking about this memory. Yeah.
And we are calling the reset now. You remove all those cells.
Then that the X and Y is
Another programming language, for example, we create a class, we create an object of a class, then we call a function of that class. That function will be defining some value for the data.
what happens, it will, I assume that,
See, if you talk about C++, there's something called this pointer, right? What is this pointer? This pointer is internally it kind of runs similarly in Java. Okay, but here it is identifying that X of what using self. So when P1 is calling this reset, P1 dot reset, it means that, so when you're calling P1 dot reset, this function will get called. Control will jump to this function. Now in this function, this self is nothing but address of P1 object. Then I'm saying that that address dot x equal to 0 and that address dot y equal to 0. Right. Where is that? It has gone. You can try changing it. Which version of Python you are using? Tell me the error, whatever you're getting. This is constructor. When I'm writing P1 equal to point, it means that I created an object from this point class or for this class, and P1 is a reference to this object. Similarly, I created one more object and P2 is reference to this object. Then I'm printing P1 and P2, and then I'm adding X and Y dynamically in this for this object. P1 dot X will create one data, P1 dot Y will create one more data. Similarly for P2. Okay, and then I'm calling the function reset, and then I'm calling a reset function using P1 and P2, P1 dot reset and P2 dot reset. Now reset contain what? A field self. Okay, so when P1 is calling this reset, this self will be the address of P1. Okay, so that address dot x equal to 0. Then again that address dot y equal to 0. So I'm making that x and y as 0 for P1. Second time when I'm calling using P2, this self will be set to the address of P2. So P2 dot x will be 0 and P2 dot y will be 0. And then I'm printing self. When I call P1 dot reset, it will change x and y value. And then I'm printing actually 100 and y is 300. So it will not print. So let's say it will just jump to this function, and in this function I'm not printing. I'm just making it 0 and I'm printing self. Why I'm printing self? Just to show you that self value will change depending upon who is calling. Just now, are you able to change it? Are you able to change it? And are you printing it also? The way I'm printing it here, where? Like this. Okay.
So it's creating an object and assigning
Correct.
reference of
Which version of Python you are using? Python version? Python version. 2.2. Okay, so if we just look at this example, I'm printing P1 and P2 here. I'm printing P1 and P2 here, and then I'm printing self also. I'm printing P1, I'm printing P2. Okay, and then when I'm calling reset here, P1 dot reset, what will happen? The control will jump to the reset function. It will reset X and Y, and then it will print self. Okay, so this should match with the self. Getting it? So for example, my first is something 18. This is my P1. This is my P2. Because of these two instructions, print P1 and print P2. I am printing address of P1 and P2 as 18 and 60. Again, I am calling reset with P1 first. Since I am calling reset with P1 first, self will be equal to P1, right? So 18 and then 60. I am printing what? I am printing self. Here I was printing P1 and P2, right? So self is nothing but object which is calling address of the object which is calling those member functions. So self is nothing but the object itself. Self is nothing but object itself. One more thing, if I change this X and Y with J and K, then what will happen? It will not reset, and it will create two more variables also, because there is no difference in writing P1.x or writing self.x, because both self and P1 are same. They are just the address of that object, right? So instead of resetting these two values X and Y, it will create two more fields. It will create two data numbers Z and K. Correct. If you don't call reset, if you call reset, then again P2 will be having. Okay. Got it, right? Do I need to explain anything in terms of memory diagram, memory layout for this program? And what about this reset function? So all this variable self, these are local to this reset function. Getting this point? Functions, I mean, whatever the variables are there and the argument or the variable inside a function, those are like local variable. So once this reset come out, this self and whatever the variables in this local function no longer valid. Which one? No. This X and Y is not visible unless you write P1 or self. Okay, so these are like local to that object. There won't be any conflict. Okay. These are local to the, but we are appending it using self. So it will append in the object and then this function will go off. Okay. For example, mm, so let's say you got two objects created. Okay, I'm talking about RAM. Everything is in RAM. Okay, and now you got P1 here, which is pointing to this one, and you got P2 here, which is pointing to this one. Okay, initially it is having, let's say, 100 and 300, which is X and Y. Okay, here let's say I'm having 10 and 20, which is X and Y. Now if I call P1 dot reset, P1 dot reset, if I call P1 dot reset, so what will happen? Control will jump to reset function. Okay, control will jump to reset function. Okay, in reset function, what will happen? In reset function, what will happen? It is having one self. So now I'm talking about the stack of reset. There's something of stack. Okay, whenever there's a function call, it will call in the stack. Okay, so I'm talking about now stack of reset. So stack of reset contain what? A variable called self, whose value is same as 0x40, 0x50. Okay, so this self will be 0x40. It's the address. Okay, now in the definition of reset, I have written what? Self dot x equal to 0. Okay, so let's say instead of self dot x, if I write self dot z equals to 30. Okay, so what will happen? Self dot z mean what is self? 40. So control will go here. So this address dot z, it means that I am creating one more variable dynamically, z, and the value is 30. I am creating one more variable, let's say k, value is 20. SELF self dot k is equals to 20, and then I am printing self. I am printing self. So it will print this 40. So it will add j and k, and then this function will return, because that was the last statement. So when this function will return, this stack will go off. Then no, all these things, this will go off. It means that it will be cleared off. This stack will be cleared off. It came back, control came back. Again, I am calling this reset function second time. So again, this stack will be created. Again, I am creating, again I am calling p2 dot reset, right? Again, I am creating p2 dot reset, p2 dot reset, p2 dot reset. It means that again I am creating one stack with self as local variable. Now this time self will be set to 50. Again I am writing, so the definition of reset contain what? Self dot z, self dot k. So using this self, I am changing here. Using this local variable, I am changing somewhere else, because that local variable contain what? The address of this object. And then when I'm back, this memory is no longer valid because it was a stack. Okay, but here I added something. Okay. In RAM, for Python thing, heap is very important, and stack. There are two things: heap, stack, and text segment. Text contain all the text of this Python code. Okay. For example, okay, so there will be a stack for all the function call, like p1 dot reset, p2 dot reset, whatever the function call you are making, that will happen in stack. Okay, so as soon as you are calling a function, stack will get created. And once that function returns, stack will, so it will grow depending upon what and all you are doing in the stack, how many variables you are having. And then this is text segment which contain Python code. And whatever you are creating it here, let's say point, P1, X, and all those things, that will go in heap. This is called heap. Heap. Everything will be in the heap. Okay. This is how a typical Python program. So heap is very important in Python. Okay. And then Python garbage collector will, depending upon how many references you are having in that variable, it will remove and it will do that clearing. No, module, there won't be any separate memory for module. Module contain what? Module contain class and code. So as soon as you call a function which is present in some module, basically you're doing what? You're calling a function which is present in some other module, right? So ultimately that function will get called. Using module name, you are accessing that. Okay, this module, this class, this function. Ultimately, that function, that is a function which will execute in stack. There won't be separate memory for module. Correct. That will be part of heap. All the global variables are on. Sorry. I didn't get, sorry, what? Restriction. We'll see. Here is nothing like private public protected. So it is little different from the other language. Okay, Python, it is little different from other language. But again, we can protect variables. We can make it kind of private. So as we go, we'll see how to make those private and okay. Okay. One last program I wanted to show here is variable, no, VARS, VARS. It's not var, VARS. Just type VARS.
Let's suppose inside the class, two functions are there. Just like we said, there is something, and both have sense.x. And when I am trying to retrieve the x from the second function, so I can't write p1.x at that time, right? Because the two functions we have x variables.
But you added x before you are calling those two functions. Are you adding that x before you are calling those two functions? For example, if we talk about this program, where it is, this function, I'm adding x and y before I'm calling reset. Okay. Right. Correct. Since before calling reset, I've added x and y. Okay. If I don't add it here, what will happen? Right. Let's say if I comment these lines, what will happen? Now you are directly calling reset. So far, there was no data member. You are calling reset. Control will go to reset function, and there you are having x self.x. So now x and y will get created. And if it is already there, it will reset to 0. Okay. Because do you think there is any difference between this line and this line? Internally both are same, right? So if I'm adding x and y using this statement, Why not it will be added using this statement? Because self is nothing but equal to P1. The first function you are calling, because of that it will be added, and second function will refer to the same variable. It will modify. Okay, so it is modifying. So because I added x and y, that's why it is making it 0. Because those are already present, now it is making it those two variables as 0. If I remove this, it will create those two and put the value as 0. There's something called underscore init. There's a function, there's a special function. The name of that function is init. Okay, so all the functions preceded with underscore, they all are special functions and they will be called internally. All the function preceding with underscore, some name and then underscore. Okay, those all are special function and they will be called internally. Okay, so if you see the class definition of point now, I am having two function, move, reset, and underscore init. Now if I create point object, point 3, 5. Okay, so basically when you have this function underscore init, what will happen? So now in this class definition, I'm having a special function underscore init. Okay. So if I write p1 is equals to point, okay, it will give me error. Why? Because when I'm having this underscore init implemented, this function internally calls underscore init. This function point, this constructor internally call underscore init function if it is implemented. Since it is implemented, it will call this function. Since it is implemented, it will call this function, and now it will call this function without argument. Okay, so you have to pass those arguments. You have to pass these arguments. So you have to call the constructor using 3, 5. Why? Because my init is expecting two arguments x and y. Self will be passed implicitly depending upon who is calling. In this case, I'm not calling, it will be called automatically. So as soon as that the object get created, self will be set to the address of that object. Getting my point? Here I'm not calling it, right? Underscore init. It will be called internally. But so what will be the value of self? Sorry. Init is not a constructor, but it's an initialization function. Which so let's say when you want to do something just after object got created, you have to use init function. Okay, because this function will get called just after this point got created. Okay, and this will be called by constructor. So for example, when I'm writing this line point equal to 3, 5, what will happen? it will first create an object point and it will call this init function with 3 and 5 as an argument. Okay. Okay. If you have init without argument, that is fine. That's fine. Okay. Here it's with argument, right? So we have to pass or init with default argument. Let's say if I write here x equal to some null value, that's called default argument. We are not passing anything, that will get passed. Okay. So here I am calling constructor with 3 and 5. So constructor internally will call underscore init because it is implemented in this class. X then will be equal to 3 and y will be equal to 5. And I am setting this. Again, it is calling move function x dot move x comma y. So what will happen? Control will jump to move function. From here, control will jump to the move function. Again with x and y means 3 comma 5. And here I am creating x and y. It is in C++, Java, it is possible, but here so basically for adding member function, what you can do is data member, you can add it in it. Okay, the correct way is to add inside underscore init underscore. For example, here in this case, I am calling move, and in move I am adding x and y. Here in move I am adding x and y, but ideally you should add in underscore init. So my code should be in init itself, right? In init I should be having self dot x and self dot y. Equal to x equal to y. Okay.
When from outside I am calling point dot move.
This line.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will directly go to the move and take the x y value.
No. Okay. So okay. So when you're calling this point, what will happen? The function calling sequence will be this point will call underscore init. Okay. With self and x and y as an argument. X equal to 3, y equal to 5. And inside init I am calling move. So what will happen? This init will call move. With self x and y. Again x equal to 5. Oh, sorry, 3 and y equal to 5. And this move I'm having a statement self dot x equal to x and self dot y equal to y. So let's say because of this first line, I'll get an object created and pointing to this object, but I don't have any member so far, any member attached so far. Then init will get called. Init will call move, and move I'm having self dot x equal to x. No, there is no x associated here, so it will create one x and it will create one y. Whatever it is, 3 or 5 or 3.
Okay, let's suppose move is not that
Mhm.
If move is not there,
If move is not there, it will throw error. Move is not there means the function calling move. I mean, you are having move in init, but you don't have move implemented. This is what you mean to say? Oh, you mean to say you remove x and y. So in that case, again error because function is expecting. Move is expecting some argument. Okay, whole sentence is not there. You mean to say this whole line is not there? Ah. Okay, in that case, there won't be any x and y.
let's suppose somebody is trying to call it then
Hmm.
init I can create any init empty also.
Right. See, the init is the first function which will be called once object got created. Underscore init is the first function which will be called once object is created. Init, if you want to keep it empty, that is fine. If you want to create some variable, so that is the best place. Okay.
It's like
Hmm. Whatever the data must you want in your object, that you can implement in init, like x, y, z, whatever it is.
those things are
Hmm. Okay. Any doubts so far?
let's suppose in a build function
Mm-hmm.
we can write those parameters. Then there is no need of init.
Mm-hmm. For example,
Move is having x and y now.
okay.
Let's suppose there is something called reset also. It is also having x.
Okay, so you mean to say I'm just crossing, I'm just cutting this line. I like self comma x.
Comma y. Inside the bracket.
No, I got it. Assume that this is there in this set. Assume that this statement is inside this set. So
And in a reset parameter, self comma x. So then in that way we can remove that init.
no. There are ways to remove init. There are ways to remove init, but what we're talking about reset is what we're writing self dot x equal to something. Make it 0. So even I was creating this x and y and move also, right? This same as this, right? If you call move first, this variable will get created, and when you reset it, since it is already created, it will reset that. But let's say instead of assigning it, I'm having print self dot x in reset. And you forget to call move. In that case, it will crash. Because I'm accessing something which is not yet created, which is not yet assigned in that. Print self dot x, it means what? Sorry? Right, I want to print point the x value of the point, but x value I haven't yet created. I'm saying you call this function before you call this move. If I call this function first, print statement, in that case the program will crash. So better to have all the data members in init, because that is the first function which will get called implicitly. You need not to call that function. Once object got created, it will get called and it will initialize all those data members in the object memory. Something like this. Something like this. So let's say node is a class having these data members. Okay, this is called class diagram. Node is a class which is having these 3 data members and 1 member function. Now, if I see the implementation of this class, if I see implementation of this class, in init, I'm having self.memo, self.tag, self.creation date. Okay, in init function, I'm having all these. And then I've implemented match function also. Okay, so best place is to define data members in init function rather than in any other function. Any doubts so far? If there's something called, I mean, if you want, I mean, it depends. Let's say you want all the variables before you start the program, you have to define that. And let's say there is a possibility like you can add it dynamically. In that case, you can have a list as a variable, and you just keep on adding those variables in the list. So we'll see in that case. No, you mean to say? Okay. You mean to say in the class definition, not inside init, not inside init. Okay. So all the class object will share those. Yeah. So we'll see that also. So let's say you want 100 elements before you start your program, and if there's a need like you should be having those already, then you have to. The best option is like you can create you can create this one list and all. I mean, for those, rather than having individual object, you can create a list and then keep on appending the list as and when you want. For example, I mean, example. Can you give example? What exactly you are saying? I mean, Okay. So for example, let's say in reset, if you're printing X, right? Let's say in reset, if you're printing that X and Y, then you should be having X and Y before. So yeah, in that case, we need to define. If you have a list in __ init, so in the object memory, let's say you are having X and Y, similarly you'll be having one list also.
Yeah, we have call an object. And then
Mhm.
first,
Okay,
at that time, we initialize the variables and the list.
and the list also. You can create empty list. Okay, then then self dot that list name dot append will append that list. Okay. No. See, adding will be happening through different function. You created empty list, but not in it. So in it is just you are having all those data members already. Now appending that list can happen in some other function. Appending or deleting from that list. No, so creation is more important, right? Once created, you just call append on that list, and that can happen from some other function. Okay, I'll share all this code. Okay, and what's the class timing? It is 2 hours. And what the duration? I mean, this one. No. The duration is 2 hours, right? Timing is 11 to 1. Okay, so tomorrow 11 to 1, or maybe 1:30 or 2, something like that. 11 to 1, 1:30. Okay, I'll share all this code to you, and again we'll see tomorrow. Any doubts so far with the memory layout and how it executes local variable? So these are all like local variable. When global variable come in picture, I'll explain you. So tomorrow we'll see what is more about constructor, and we'll start maybe inheritance or maybe so you guys are comfortable with dictionary, list, tuples, right? Then we'll implement one project tomorrow. Okay. So then maybe class will be of 3 hours. Okay, we'll implement one small project. And in that case, learn to start at 11. This, I'll show this. Any doubt you are having because